All say you want to come to Shanghai to start your careers. Let me show you what Shanghai looks like now. Look at this massive shopping mall. Such a huge space, and there's no one here. There are so many stores open, but no customers. What's going on? This huge mall, and I'm the only one here. There's a street full of food stalls. Looks like a big setup, but not a single person in sight. Just look at this place. So big, yet completely empty. Can you believe this is Shanghai, one of China's major cities? It feels like an empty city. Most of the shops here are closed. It used to be nearly impossible to find a storefront, but now they're all shut down. The biggest mystery of 2025 is, where have all the people gone? Where are the customers? Where did China's 1.4 billion people go? I just went to a street food stall, and there were no customers. The vendors outnumber the people. The stall owner told me there haven't been many people lately because everyone's gone home to buy groceries and cook. But when I went to the market in the evening, the owner there told me the same thing. There weren't any shoppers. No one knows where everyone has gone. So where exactly are all the people? This can be considered the voice of many people in China. Starting in 2025, many have noticed that there are fewer people on the streets. In fact, in some bustling cities, not a single person can be seen, which may feel quite strange.
The holiday is already over. Where have all the people in Beijing gone? I don't know if you've noticed, but there are no people on the streets in Beijing. There's nobody in malls, nobody on the streets, nobody anywhere. I feel like there are fewer and fewer people in Beijing, but I just don't know where they've all gone.
It's March 7th, 9:30 a.m. right now. I'm standing on Wangfu Jing pedestrian street in Beijing. As you can see, there are very few people on the street. Very, very few.
A number of viewers have written to me, sharing their thoughts and information on the matter. I decided to finally confront the question head-on. China's real population is not anywhere near 800 million either. It's somewhere between 300 and 400 million. Yes, you heard that right. China's actual population may be only a fraction of the official 1.4 billion. I believe we need a two-step approach to estimate China's real population. First, we must rectify China's real population before the pandemic. And then we must determine China's real death toll during COVID. So first things first, what is China's population before the pandemic? In 2018, the Russians estimated that China's actual population may be between 500 million and 800 million. A Russian expert noted that China's population in 1945, during the nationalist rule, was 490 million. After the Communist Party implemented the Great Leap Forward, which resulted in the Great Famine and the subsequent Cultural Revolution, causing countless deaths and injuries, followed by decades of the one-child policy, it's impossible that China's population surged to 1.4 billion. Other Russian experts added up the publicly available urban population of every Chinese city and county and got only 280 million people. And based on the traditional urban-rural population ratio of 1:1, they estimated China's actual population being around 560 million. Even considering China's unique circumstances, they say that the population should not exceed 800 million. And then Japanese scholars have done research based on China's table salt consumption, arable land, and international grain purchases, and concluded that China's real population was between 800 and 900 million. In my December 14th, 2024 program, which was cut based on my October 8th live stream, I showed you China's real population before the pandemic was between 695 million to 890 million. My logic was straightforward. It is that, 35 years ago, China and India's population was only 270 million people apart. In 1990, India had 870 million people, while China had a population of 1.1 billion. In the next 30 years, India's fertility rate averaged 3. That means every woman on average gives birth or gave birth during that 30 years to 3 children, while China's official fertility rate was only half of India's at 1.7. Therefore, mathematically, it's impossible that India, a much younger country with double the fertility, still has a smaller population than China does in a span of 30 years. So using AI and official CCP fertility rate, I came up with 890 million Chinese population for the year 2020. However, if I use Dr. Yi Fuxian, a renowned expert on Chinese demographics, if I used his fertility rates, China's population in 2020, before the pandemic, was only 695 million. So you see my calculation, the studies conducted by the Russians and the Japanese overwhelmingly point China's population before the pandemic at somewhere between 600 million and 800 million or 900 million, but it's around 800 million. And there's another expert who agrees with our number, a Chinese YouTuber by the name of Li Muyang, who has 1 million subscribers, disclosed in his March 1st and March 8th programs information he received from one of his fans. This fan has been working for the WHO for decades and does data collection and analytic work. He has been studying China's population for a while. And in 2020, 2021, this fan of Mr. Li tried to repeat the Russian study by adding up all official population data at local levels. But he wasn't able to do so because many of the local governments had stopped releasing demographic data, and some even fabricated the information. So he wasn't able to finish his study, but he concluded that China's population before the pandemic was 750 million.
You want me to keep going?
No, I think that's good.
So in summary, where she goes is she basically says after the pandemic, we're looking at around 100 to 200 million in China.
And is that because of pandemic-related unalivings?
Yes, that is that. And also just there seems to be a lot of disappearances. And let's add the Falun Gong practitioners and the organ harvesting market and the continual brutality of the regime. Like essentially we're looking at a very, very massively considered smaller population than what China is renowned for.